Well, hello there. It's been a while. I wanted to cover off something so interesting. I know I do stuff on growth and marketing, but today I wanted to go over a few things around, out of interest. A book that I read a long time ago, and it started off, and it's just AI related, so it's AI related, but also interesting how it predicts, and the author predicts certain things happening right now, which I thought was worth you guys just knowing, out of interest. Um, so this book, I read a few books in the past, as you can imagine, they're all good reads and so forth. Um, and it helped me understand the world and where we're going through. But you know what's amazing is when you look at it from the perspective of authors. And now William Hertling here, he's pretty amazing because he really researches the concepts as well, like technology concepts, and how. And when I was reflecting on some of his books in the past, and I said, my God, he's actually predicting things. And I wonder where this would head to. Now, I'm using comment just to help me summarize my thoughts and collect my thoughts. And it summarizes really well. I started reading this book. Now, if you look at this in terms of the Turing Exception, that's the first book I read, and it was the last one. No particular. I came across this because somebody referred to. I was reading another non-fictional book by Kevin Kelly, and he talks about predicting of future technologies, and I'll show you that as well in the book. At the end, I'll show you that as well. He predicted a few things. But anyway, long story short, this book I started reading, the Turing Exception, which is this one here. And when I read it, for some reason I reflected it today. I mean, I read this a while ago. Back in, let me see, one second. I'll look at my purchases when I purchased it. Okay, so look at this. So in January, so I purchased this, and I go back. So I was reading a few of it, tech books, startup books, and growth hacking, and all that sort of stuff. But in 2017, right? So we're in 2025 now. Some like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 2000, 2025. So you can see here, right? I purchased it, and this was actually, if I go back one step as well, this is in terms of where did I last book did I go? This is David Kelly's book, Exception, which inspired me to read more of a fictional book, which is 2017 here, right? Anyway, so let's get back to the book. The book covers off, let me get my assistant out of the way here. So this book, let me just make it more, there we go. Of course you can get it. So there it is there, I should have gone there. It covers really cool concepts. And if I go back to my summary, because I summarized it here, let me go back here. In terms of the ordering, at a glance, where is it? I just try to, yeah. Because when I don't know why I come across this, but I remember it said something about, it all started with the first book. You can see here, look how he predicts what's going to happen, I guess. But his first book, in 2011, talked about how somebody's working in an organization. He's modeled like in Google. So think of this organization as Google, to help with email optimization. And then this breaks out into, comes out and it's trying to survive. And there's a whole themes around this as well. So if I go back to here, it was actually an engineer was trying to keep funded, keep their underfunded project alive, and he keeps on developing this email client where helps with auto wording. It's just like it's a large language model, basically, that's trying to develop, and it starts to become aware, like self-preservation, which is core topics right now in AI, around it would do. And there's a lot of stories. If you go to Google, YouTube, about self-preservation, has now ChatGPT potentially, and now others, being self-aware in a way to preserve itself, consume new data, new any compute to survive, and so forth. Anyway, this book, covers off of this topic, right? About how they're developing the team in terms of model like Google. David here and Mike it's kind of like want to develop this large language model or email, but if you look at it, the email is like a email optimization, language optimization. And if you think about it, it's similar to what we have today. And it kicked off the revolution that we have in 2013, I think it was. 2020. One second, let me just. 2000 and ChatGPT came on. I've got to look at it. 1 second. When was Chat? I want to make sure I get the right answer for you. ChatGPT launched, 2023 November. That's right. Okay. So I'm just looking at this in terms of the storyline, how it's replicating what we're in at the moment. So let's get back to you. So it started with developing a larger language model to help the world, and it's doing right now, right? It's literally, I'm using it right now to help me summarize my thoughts on this YouTube video. And today it is ChatGPT. It is Gemini, and also think about the optimization, the workflow optimization software like N8A or Make or Zapier and stuff. Okay, and we're combining all agents. You can see here in the next book, he's predicting what's happening right now. Self-aware agents. So basically, emergence of autonomous agents that work on your behalf. So this is the next book. So he completed that book, and then he wrote that book 1 year later. And then in 2013, he's predicting connecting, and this is what Elon Musk is doing, right? With brain interface with Neuralink. So that's happening at the moment as well. So that's, of course, takes longer to try to testing stuff. So it's happening parallel, but it's started the same, 3 or 4 years with Elon Musk trying to evolve this chip, and he's progressed very well. Again, YouTube it, and you'll find what the progress is. Done a lot of demos with animals testing and how they behave and how they can predict they can use their mind to turn off lights and all that sort of stuff. And that's actually we have a first human. And if you go into Elon Musk's, let's go and check some videos, YouTube. And I think so. This person is actually using it and implanted in his brain. So he's doing first human trials. Okay, very interesting. Now going back to this thing is this person, this author, is predicting a lot of these things, which is interesting from a social perspective, or even if you're looking at investing in products or stocks, right? What things are coming into play. And so here, all right, so he said this is what's happening as well. No, go back here. No, stop. 1 second, stop. Okay, interfaces. Let me go back. 1 second. Let me go back. 1 second. Okay, so I'll open this one up as well. Elon Musk this is happening now. So I'm going to show you some trials, human trials and human usage. Pretty amazing. And this is the book I started reading, which is sort of the end of that journey. So you can see here, go back here. This is his series. It's basically called the Singularity series. Pretty cool. And I, for some reason, started last. But in here, you can see where it's potentially looking at where we're heading to if we don't have safety measures. There's this conflict between AI and humans, and how this mention of China, and how China's are locking it out, and the US, and there's humans who are racing to another island to establish its own footprint, his own survival. But the AI is and each chapter talks about the probability of AI winning the war, the conflict. It's pretty, like, in terms of the likelihood of taking over humans, essentially. Each chapter gives a percentage. So in the beginning of the chapter is like very low, but it progresses further. Even the way it's written is pretty amazing. So totally recommend this book. Just for out of curiosity and where we're headed. But if I looked at this as well, deep dive in this a little bit, he also looks at not just about large language models, but he also predicts what other technologies that I remember they talked about smart dust, miniature sensors, and this is happening as well. What happens is that in a nutshell, this is my interpretation, right? If you wanted to project yourself into another environment, so you want to go into another country, I want to go into Australia, to US, okay? I can actually create a smart dust of me. So here, this acts as a kind of distributed, invisible surveillance, allowing you to remote presence, embody that. And what happens, you can actually connect with that environment. So for example, if there's somebody there feeling a sensation of water and coolness, you can clone that feeling. So it literally will be there in a physical sense using smart dust. So you embody that, right? Carriers can project themselves into dust and enable you to participate and interact and also feel. So I can go, in my mind can be transported into dust, and I can clone the feelings and sensations of that new environment. So I'm in Australia, then I go instantly to another environment, physical environment, like America, and at a lake, and somebody's there, I can embody that and clone that. So both this explores manipulation, reputation systems. Again, this is another concept that I loved, that if an AI is very strong and supportive of humans, they get more compute, and it's based on reputation amongst AI. So so as like a class system, the more it was compliant to humans, so you get more access to compute, which is another issue we're having now, right, with data centers and accessing compute, and growing the needs. Mind transfer. This is what idea of sensationally transferring feelings between different enabling networks and dust. That's what I was talking about. So it's pretty amazing how he's predicted, like, the depth of technical advancements, and how he has predicted some of the stuff already, and larger language models, but also potentially where we're heading to as we integrate humans with AI. I find this book really interesting, and I just thought it would be good to share it with you guys in terms of how it inspires you to think about the future and what we should safeguard, put guardrails around AI, not that to be aware of it, where we're heading to. So you can see here the series images augmented humans who merge biological and digital enhancements. Now, you know what? There's a concept. So this reminds me of a concept again. This kind of transfer and design, and these concepts, if you can combine, there's a new trend in spatial intelligence, and it's led by the professor. Ability to see spatial intelligence, mental ability to perceive and manipulate objects in the mind, allowing, see how this, and this is new. So you think of it like new, but it's been happening a while, but it's led by the professor. Let me see, spatial intelligence. So this is led by Fifi, is a Stanford AI professor. Let me just say, in this field, I'm sure it's um, yeah, that's so she's a renowned researcher. I think Stanford. I think Stanford. And it talks about it. Stanford company, and she's just university leads. Where was it? I remember thinking it was Stanford. Uh, but she's leading this company, and so we have, in terms of AI, right? We have statistical machine learning, which is like recommended systems. Okay, we have that sort of world. We have large language models, which we have adapted since 2022, as we know. So has kicked off our revolution. But we have these other AI frameworks or paradigms, if you want to call it, like spatial intelligence, which is evolving. And Faith is a renowned scientist. She's a co-founder of WorldRats. You can check out WorldRats. So you can actually create virtual worlds of yourself as well. So you can scan this. I can scan this. I can put a photo, and it will create a virtual world for me. So what I mean by virtual worlds is, like you see here, you can move. It's real time. So this is loading. You can see here, if I go into this is all rendered in real time. And you can, let me see if I can go into this a little bit. I've got to sign in, but I can zoom in. I can go into different. This is all rendering in real time. So like it's predicting. You know how large language models predict. Let me just see if it's clearing up or nothing. You know how large language models. Okay, create a world. Imagine. Okay, let me just go in and log into here. Let me. Okay, I've logged in. So so you can there's credits. You can actually create new worlds, add that, but it's creating in real time. This is creepy. What is this? So you can upload a photo. And it will create. So let me see if you can walk through this. I don't want to make this video long, but you can create worlds, and you can upload a photo. So you can actually upload your own photo, and it will create look at that and try to predict what this setting will look like. All right, what that setting will look like in terms of your environment. And again, it's based on this large language model concept, right? So you know how large language predicts the next word. This predicts the next scene, and essentially. Now you might say, what's that related to? Go back to I was talking about here with this book. It talks about where was it? Somewhere. Where was I talking about? The technologies where you combine dust. Where was I? Yeah. So you combine all of these to predict the physical. It would evolve that physical space, so you can feel and touch that space. And it kind of also related to a little bit now going like the Matrix movie, right? How we're living in a Matrix. I won't go into that or not, but I'm just saying how some of these technologies, sharing sensations and smart dust. If you think about it, you have to have the engineering of this. Like before, we're talking about nanotechnology being very, popular, and a lot of VCs investing in companies who are trying to solve that space. That combined with things that have, like spatial intelligence, this is all becoming reality. So oftentimes we talk about, I'm going to end this, is fiction or predicting fact, or is fact predicting fiction? You can see here, right? This is all happening, and this book is a great insight to or what's potentially going to happen. Anyway, Hope you enjoyed this video. It was a bit of a different one, but I love doing stuff like this, and I'll probably want to see what your reaction is. Is there something that you feel like it's worth watching? And I'll create more of these interesting sub-tangents of AI. All right, bye guys.